Okay, is that sound? There we go. Sound files up. Welcome to Beacon of Speech. What is Beacon of Speech about? It's selling freedom of speech to everyone. If I had a copy of the First Amendment, which I don't have in my hand today, which I'll explain why later, I would wave it into the camera that we don't have today either. Do we, Ted?
No.
I'm Fred Hunt. That's Ted Coley. That's Joe Kaufman. Free speech is under constant assault in America today. The problem is that it's coming from two places that it's very hard to fight. From the left, PC madness. From the right, corporations. The concept that we're all in this together is lost in America. America is supposed to lead by example, not force its will onto other countries. My sister used to do the same spiel when she worked at Cedar Point. You know, make sure you keep your hands inside the burlap sack when you go down the giant slide. What are limits to free speech? Pure evil. Evil is debatable. Pure evil is absolute. Like or not, a lot of the Constitution is based on vague Christian principles. Blah, 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 blah. All right. First order of business. We are not in the palatial Beacon of Speech studios. We have been kicked out.
Yes.
Yes, so we are in the auxiliary studios, thanks to Joe who fixed our hum problem.
No problem, anytime.
Joe was able to disconnect the refrigerator. Now we're in the auxiliary studio.
We're in the rock and roll break room.
We're in the rock and roll break room, and the reason it's rock and roll break room is because our boss, who remain nameless, who we always give up his name by the end of the show anyhow, wanted a cool break room.
Should we mention where we're at, or should we just keep that on the
down? Everybody knows we are in the Iron Mountain Studios, and we're in the break room, and we don't have a TV in our break room, and we don't have a radio in the break room. So how is this a rock and roll break room, Ted Coley?
Well, because we have albums nailed to the wall, 45s.
Yes, 45s.
And probably a lot of people don't even know what those are.
Yeah.
Is that a gun?
Yeah, not 45. We have 45s. This one is from 1981. This is the hit Cheap Trick, I Must Be Dreamin'. Do you remember that single?
No, I don't remember that song.
No, I don't remember.
Is that the B-side?
I don't remember that either.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it is the B-side. Oh, it says, yeah, right here. Let me pull the nail out and see if we can... The A side is Reach Out. Do you know?
I don't know that one.
I don't know that one either. So
wow.
So we have records nailed to the walls, and I am not exaggerating. There's a nail, and there are records on the wall, and there's also record covers, and there's a giant Eagles poster. Eagles Live from what year is that? 1980. You know, all the kids can grow up to aspire to work here, and they can take their lunches in the rock and roll break room.
I took my lunch in the rock and roll break room today.
How was it in the rock and roll break room for you?
It was okay. Kind of rocked out, you know. Rocked out with me and the microwave.
Be honest. Did you use your phone and listen to music on the cell phone?
No, because I have a dumb phone. So I don't get internet.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You got the flip phone like we do.
Yeah. So I don't have that fancy smartphone technology.
You know, I was going to ask you if we had a password anyhow, because we could just download the Wi-Fi, but we don't have the password for that.
I don't know what it is.
Ted Coley, do you believe him for a second? Do you think that he has the password? He just won't share it with us now?
I believe him.
I believe him too.
Yeah.
But we can't put it out of the realm of possibility that you are hiding.
Because you know what? I even asked Steve that. I said, there's Wi-Fi here. How do you log into it? And he doesn't even know.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't. When he's streaming Netflix and watching, Rambo 4 in his office, I find it hard to believe that he doesn't know what the password is. All right, I'm going to give up secrets about Ted's past. Ted, are you ready for this?
Oh, God.
Oh, we got secrets.
One of Ted's...
Do I know these secrets?
Yes. One of Ted's secrets in life is...
Do you want these secrets out?
I don't know what they are. I'm worried.
Oh, not all your secrets. You have many secrets that even I do not know. Because we don't know what's in your basement. We don't know, your past. We don't know about...
I have a Nordic track that I never use.
Yeah, we don't know about hookers and blow, right?
Oh, God.
One of Ted's pet peeves is he hates people who say they work 24/7, But in reality, they do not work 24/7.
It's hard to work 24/7. You're working every day, every minute that you're awake.
Yeah. Now we're
You're
gonna
awake 24 hours on.
we're gonna throw a disclaimer out, right, Ted?
Right.
There's probably some doctors that actually do work 24/7. Not very many, but some. Some emergency room
Well,
doctors.
I mean, that's like being on call.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
And-
I mean, we got people here work 20, literally work 24.
well, legitimately work.
Yeah. So you
24/7.
basically you
Legitimate.
say I probably worked 14 years straight.
Yeah, 14
Yeah.
years straight. Or say you're a soldier in Iraq. You're a soldier in Iraq. Even when you're sleeping, you know, a bomb could go off. You
Yeah.
got to run out and, you know, go kill some Iraqis, right? Or ISIS or whoever we're fighting today, right? So there are, but 99 out of 100 times, people who say they work 24/7, they're just flat out liars. Would you say
Mhm.
that's fair?
Yeah.
And so that's one of your pet peeves. You don't mind passing that out to the audience?
Yeah, and it's usually the people who say they work 24/7. I can't even figure out what they're doing for 1 hour a day, let alone 24 hours.
Well, that's going to be our first topic today. Is I always have.
I think they do
magazines.
that as a smoke screen.
Yeah. So you think that they work
Yeah.
24/7, and you know, they're whittling. Like I remember, I think I told you this. You remember the one customer in Westlake? He knew he was going to get laid off, so I walked in to make the delivery, and he was whittling. He had
Really?
a stick, and he was whittling.
You
Right?
do that every day.
Yeah, every day till the end of the year because he knew he was getting laid off. It was at. I'm going to write it down because I want to say it out loud.
Oh, I know who that is.
Oh wait, no, that's not that. Wrong number. I have to memorize customer numbers.
Oh,
You remember
yeah.
that guy?
I remember the lady.
No, it was the guy, and they laid him off at the end of the year. And he had a sharp stick, right? And he would whittle. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, whittling. You never seen anybody whittle? I'm like, I never seen anybody whittle while they were at work. And he's literally wearing a workshop bib, and there's shavings of wood all across his office.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he literally did not give a
Good
flip.
for him.
Yeah, well, yeah. He's like,
I
well, I'm
had
getting,
that attitude.
yeah. Well, I'm getting close to that attitude. I know Ted's not. But the point of my story is that the 24/7 people are the people like the guy who got laid off for whittling. Okay. So we've established that you both love the NFL.
Yeah, it's
Correct.
okay.
You love the NFL. You gotta say yes. You can't just
Yeah,
not Ted.
it's-
You troublemaker. Okay. This is Sports Illustrated from December 28th. Okay. The article is blah 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 blah. Let me give it the right title. Okay. Brain Trust. Will Smith shines a light on the
Oh,
dark side of the
God.
sport he loves. Right? Now, you're familiar with the concussion movie. Right?
I've seen the previews.
Yeah. You're familiar with the concussion movie.
Yeah.
You might not have seen it, but you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
Would you say at the end of the year, probably the number one problem facing the NFL were questions about the concussion movie? Would you say that's fair, Joe? They probably got more questions about that than, not in Cleveland, because everybody cares about Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Football.
Johnny Football. No. Billy Football.
Billy.
Johnny Football?
Yeah, Billy Football. You don't know he's Billy Football?
No.
Yeah, that's his pseudonym.
Oh, really?
You really didn't hear that story?
No.
Yeah. Johnny Manziel went to a club, but he was supposed to be playing football.
Yeah. You mean
And-
Vegas?
Yeah, when he went to
Oh,
Vegas,
that's the name he used?
yeah, he used a wig and the mustache, but he said he was Billy. And then he tried to comp the room, and they're like, "Sorry, dude, we're not going to comp."
He's Billy license plates.
Yeah, yeah, Billy license plates. So, but back to the main problem in the whole NFL, it'll probably be concussions, right?
I would guess so. I would say getting drunk and beating your wife,
Oh yeah, getting drunk, but
raping women.
I mean all
Drugs.
over. I agree with you. They have a
Murdering
lot of little
people.
problems, but the number one problem with the NFL at the end of the year were all these concussion problems, true or false or whatever.
Yeah.
Even if it's hype and you don't believe it, which you don't seem to believe.
It's just a bunch of bullshit now because you go to, oh, you got a headache. Oh, you're out for like 3 weeks because you might have a concussion.
Yeah.
Look at Joe Hayden. He's been out forever.
Well, in Joe Hayden's defense, I will not slander Joe Hayden today because I actually like him.
I'm not slandering. I'm just saying. Look, something happens and you're out. You're out for almost the whole entire season.
Yeah.
Like what's his face? What's that quarterback that we had that was out? He had a concussion, then came back in, hit again. McCown?
Yeah.
Oh, McCown, yeah, he came back.
Look at that.
But so the number one problem in football is concussions, right? And Joe's arguing that's not. Oh, I was going to throw that away.
Sorry for making the noise.
Oh no, that's okay. He's making a noise. That's all right. So here's the article. The end of the article, the last paragraph. They ask. I get his name right. Jeff Miller, the NFL Senior Vice President of Health and Safety Policy, has Roger Goodell seen the concussion movie? That's all anybody's talking about.
Oh.
And even if you don't agree, you know that it's in the public discourse, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Well, it says right here. Miller says, don't expect Roger Goodell to be lining up at the local multiplex on Christmas. Okay, and Miller says, I'm guessing he doesn't see a lot of movies because he's kind of working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, says Miller. But if I find out from him that he intends to see it, I'll be sure to let you writers know. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, with everybody talking about concussions, literally everybody talking about concussions, what is Roger Goodell working on that he can't make time to watch the 1.5 hour concussion movie?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, but that's the point. The number one, he has no interest in solving real problems. He has no interest in, plugging head first in the real problems that they might have. He's all about, sweeping stuff under the rug and hiding stuff and keeping stuff out of the public discourse. He doesn't want to talk about the movie Concussion, even if every Sports Illustrated is not some podunk magazine.
Yeah.
And would you agree that, am I out of line by saying that everybody's talking about concussions?
No, you're not out of line.
I just don't understand who gives a shit. Who really gives a shit? Like I would like to see one person who goes see that fucking movie. I would just wait outside and just punch him in the head and give them a concussion. They're going to see that stupid fucking movie. Who cares? They get paid $1 million to go run into each other. Who gives a shit?
Well, but that's the whole thing. I don't understand how you not understand that there's a possibility to get a concussion.
I play football. I strap a helmet on my head and I run into another guy. Oh my god, I got a concussion. And everybody's like, oh my god, we can't have this. Really?
Yeah. When they were talking, and again, I didn't see the movie, but I was reading some of it, and they estimated that Mike Webster had been hit in the head 12,000 times in his career. And granted, he's in the Hall of Fame, but he went crazy. Oh, is your feed not working?
I'm just being neurotic.
And he went crazy, but they can trace it back to CTE. Who has CTE? Who doesn't have CTE? How many hits in the head CTE? How many aren't? Right? But I would think you would not go to the I'm too busy working to see that movie. And that's what's wrong with America. All these people are like, oh, I'm the problem solver, but they don't solve real problems.
How are you see what I'm saying? That problem though? Well, you strap a pillow on their heads?
Well, no, but you think he would at least address the problem. They say, have you seen this movie? I don't know what. It's one of the top movies in America. I'm not. It's like, I understand him saying, I didn't see Star Wars. Okay? It'd be like, did the commissioner see Star Wars? Oh, the commissioner's busy, right? But Star Wars is not about the NFL unless you want to go for a real reach. Oh, it's a metaphor for Han Solo and stuff.
Don't they, for the fans, don't they sell, really big helmets?
Oh, yeah, big, giant,
that's what they should do, is wear helmets like that have all, that would be cool to try and watch them play with those helmets on.
I think they should wear no helmets at all. No pads. I think they're making this country in just a bunch of, I don't even want to,
wusses.
Yeah.
We'll use the word
I was going to
wuss.
say the other word. But it's like, oh my god, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So
isn't there more major issues than about these stupid players playing football games?
But that's the whole thing. Again,
who cares about Roger Goodell and what he's doing?
I'm flipping it over, right? That's the lead story on Sports Illustrated. It's not a little paragraph here. It's not some obscure blog. It's the lead story under the Year in Sports Media 2015. And if you talk about it, and granted, I'm not disrespecting your opinion. That's your opinion, and we're talking about it. I'm just saying I don't know how the league can say, well, we're not talking about it.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to bring no more heat on that.
We don't want to talk about it.
They're going to hear it from everybody.
We want to talk about the playoffs.
What they should do? They'd be like, well, you know what? Too bad. What are you going to do about it? We're not discuss it. We don't care. Take you and your concussion movie and shove it right up your
Well, that's basically what they're saying by saying we're too busy working to watch it. And again, the guy, the Jeff Miller, he's the vice president of safety and security. Well, if you're not talking about the concussion movie, what are you talking about? Are you talking about,
So he's a safety and security expert.
Yeah, he's a safety and security expert like we have. So they probably have seminars. They don't talk about concussions, but they talk about box cutters cutting away from you. Something that NFL players would never use. They're like, well, we talked about box cutters. That's our safety and security thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at you, Joe.
About what?
I didn't know if you had to go. Joe has been sick all week.
Yeah, I've been sick.
So
Mentally ill.
do you need a hand massage?
No, thank you.
Because poor Joey's been sick, but he's also been having some hand problems.
Yeah, too much. Never mind.
Yeah, I know that. Well, that I was joking around that's what happened, but in real life, you're just having problems squeezing your hand together.
Yeah, probably carpal tunnel. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but you know what?
Old.
The one customer
I can't punch my wife hardly anymore. Close my fist.
This customer,
joking.
This customer, right there that I'm writing down and showing to you, she said it doesn't sound like carpal tunnel. It sounds like trigger finger, and that's what she thinks you have. But I don't know the difference.
Thing?
Well, I thought it was the same thing too, but she said it was different.
Trigger finger?
Yeah, like a trigger finger, like I don't know the official term for it, but she said slightly different than carpal tunnel.
Well, what do you do for it?
They operate on you, and then you can't work for 2 or 3 weeks.
It's just like carpal tunnel.
Yeah. So that's what. So, but we have our own problems, but they don't want to. Everybody I know who worked in the library had carpal tunnel.
I'm gonna make a movie on that.
You should make the carpal tunnel movie for our work.
Yep.
And then say everybody, we need to rotate 1 hour on, 1 hour off, so carpal tunnel, and then we could talk to our safety and security person. They'll be like, "There is no carpal tunnel plague at Iron Mountain."
Will Will Smith be doing the movie on that?
I don't think.
Can Will Smith play me?
Well, that's the whole thing. Will Smith is trying to do an African accent, and again, I haven't seen the movie, but the commercials I've seen, it's just funny. It makes me laugh.
The previews are horrible. Like I'm trying to do that. Yeah, it's bad.
Well, that's the whole thing. I don't want to see the movie, but again, you can't miss it. Like I said, I used to watch the news all the time, and they would have, like on Fox 8, they would have American Idol, and they would talk about American Idol. I never watched 1 minute of American Idol, but because I watched the news, I was familiar with it. And it's the same thing with this concussion movie. You can't miss it, because they're talking about it on sports channels, news channels, and magazines.
I don't see it anywhere.
You don't see it anywhere.
No, only time I heard about it was last week when you talked about it, and then this week you talk about it.
Well, so maybe I'm on the cutting edge. Maybe I'm not.
Well, you probably watch more TV than I.
I watch a lot of TV.
I don't watch a lot of sports. What do you call it? ESPN.
Okay, well
like that.
You have Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch The Ridiculous Six yet?
What's that?
That's the Adam Sandler movie, straight to Netflix.
Wasn't that the one? No, isn't that Quentin Tarantino with the cowboys?
No.
Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight is the Tarantino movie, which is a whole different conversation, right?
I heard that movie sucked too.
Well, it depends who you ask.
Oh yeah, I heard that on the radio this morning.
The Ridiculous Six is a parody of the Hateful Eight, but it went straight to Netflix.
Yeah, I heard it's really, 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 really bad.
I watched The Ridiculous Six. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was deplorably bad.
Well, The Hateful Eight just came out. How could Adam Sandler make a parody movie?
Because he knew it was coming out for like a year. And it's not a direct parody. It's just like a Western parody. You know what I mean?
I'd never even heard of that one.
Well, the point is, Ridiculous Six went right to Netflix.
So why did you watch it? That's the first question I have.
My wife likes Adam Sandler, and I kind of like Adam Sandler, like Happy Gilmore Days.
Yeah, like back then. Now he just sucks.
Well, I took a chance, right? So I'm watching the movie, and it was bad. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm not young. Maybe young people think it's funny.
Yeah.
So this morning, before we did the webcast, I went on Rotten Tomatoes. It had a 0%. Yeah, a 0.
Yeah.
How many movies can...
this morning?
But Netflix said, according to their matrices or statistical analysis, it was their #1 most watched movie.
Yeah, it was the top rated within the first 30 days. It was like the #1 watch movie within 30 days of its release because it was suckers like you who watched
Yeah,
it and didn't know any better.
because I'm the dumb one. So that's why I get. So, but you haven't. You don't have Netflix, so you didn't watch it.
Dude, you gotta get Netflix. Netflix is great. You can get rid of cable and just watch Netflix.
So you can watch like any movie.
Almost.
Yeah.
Like I go on there and I watch like Breaking Bad. They got Walking Dead. They got like everything on there now.
Yeah.
It's great. I get it for free though because my sister-in-law gets it.
Do you still have cable though?
Yeah, I still got cable because God forbid my wife goes without cable. Oh my God, the world will fucking end. Anyways.
Oh no, that's fine.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
It's like now is Hulu is that?
It's like same thing.
Yeah, it's
Hulu's like TV, but there's no channels. You just it streams to you and you're good to go.
You know anyone who has Netflix? Like any relatives?
Yeah.
You can ask them because you can use up to 8 devices. So I take my sister-in-law. She gives me her password and her email. I just log in and make an account because you're allowed to hook up 8 devices to that one account.
Mm-hmm.
So you recommend Netflix? Thumbs up for Netflix.
Yeah, I like Netflix.
I recommend Netflix too. I like it.
Besides Adam Sandler.
Don't watch the Adam Sandler stuff.
And it's like what,
He has a 4-movie deal, so
Isn't
he's
that
got 3 more movies coming.
from Netflix.
Yeah, straight to
Isn't that
Netflix
something,
movies.
though?
Yeah.
Like he gets the top rated. He makes a worse movie, and it still gets like the top rated for the first 30 days.
Well, then I was surprised, but like I said, I thought I just didn't have my pulse on it. I just thought I was too old. Like, oh, I don't get the humor.
Like the first 30-day release on Netflix, that's the most watched movie.
Yeah, I know
That's
it's
insane.
amazing.
And Netflix is what, about $10 a month?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's $9.95 a month.
Yeah.
But say
Do you have it?
Oh yeah, but the thing is, say it's $9.95, right? And 10 million people have it. Well, easy math, 10 times 10 million, that's $100 million a month coming in.
Yeah.
You know, you can afford to pay Adam Sandler after a couple of months to make whatever movies, the sucky movies he wants.
That's bad.
Because I'm telling you, Happy Gilmore was a great movie. And I didn't like the one right before, Billy Madison, but my kids loved it. They're like, oh, Dad, you don't get it. It's really funny. I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Billy Madison.
So you like Billy
Yeah.
Madison. So what was for you, what was the last good Adam Sandler movie? For me, it was Happy Gilmore.
Mr. Deeds was all right.
You know what? Mr. Deeds was all right.
And The Wedding Singer was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I like that one.
So we're going.
What's the one with the kid? Where he gets the kid?
Oh, that was
Big
Mr.
Daddy
Deeds.
or something?
Yeah, it's
Oh, Big Daddy.
Yeah, that was all right.
Yeah,
that was all right.
So what you're saying is all the way up to Mr. Deeds was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that one where he made with that fat dude, Paul Clark cop guy.
Oh, Paul Blart,
yeah.
Grown Ups.
Yeah, that wasn't that great. That was.
I watched Grown Ups, but I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't watch it again.
I watched the first one. I can't believe they didn't make part 2 of that.
Yes, they did. I didn't even give that one a chance.
I didn't either.
Ted's looking at the sky like.
No, I'm thinking of like his movies, and if there was anything decent after that, like, you know, any other.
Anybody ever watched that Spanglish?
Yeah,
My wife
Did
watched
you?
it.
saw
I
that.
didn't
heard
like
that
it.
one was horrible. I didn't watch it.
yeah, that wasn't too good.
So he's living off his reputation 15 years later, basically.
Probably,
10,
yeah,
15 years
almost,
later.
Yeah. He's just awful. He should quit. He should quit writing.
Yeah, but if people are going to keep giving you checks, why would you stop? Even if it's horrible and you
But
get a zero.
doesn't he produce a lot of other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he produced Paul Blart Mall Cop and stuff like that.
The first one was all right. It was out over my brother's house, part 2, and I'm just like, really?
There was something that I was surprised, but I'm like, oh. Do you want this Sports Illustrated?
Yeah, I'll
Do
take
I
that.
I'm going to throw it to you.
Will
'cause-
Smith and concussion.
yeah, you could read about concussion. I mean, it's not a long article, but I mean, it's the first article in there. You know what I mean? But again, we can talk about it because we have freedom of speech, and you know we can argue and we can disagree.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand how they don't address it. And it goes back to corporations. We don't talk about anything we don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
You can't make us talk about it where we want to talk about underinflated footballs for a year.
Didn't the players sue, though?
They sued, and then there was a settlement for X amount of money. I can't remember what it was. But then they said that it wasn't enough money, so they were going to
Sue again.
sue again. And or it was on appeal.
Can't you sue the team, too?
I don't think you can sue the personal team.
I don't see why you
I think you have to
team
sue the
and
league because they're all no team. Unless your trainer says you have a concussion, you have to go back in. So,
Yeah. Man.
well, can I bring up another topic? Would that be all right?
It's your show, man.
You're the
What's today?
president. So this week, one of the things that bothers me, one of the reasons we do Beacon of Speech is to have freedom of speech, talk about what we want, right?
Yeah.
Now, I do not like guns. Okay?
You don't like guns.
No, I don't like. I know you love
American,
guns.
are you?
If you had a chance, you'd probably shoot me.
Twice.
But as soon as they abridge the Second Amendment, the next thing they do is they come and get the First Amendment. Hey, Ryan, how you
Hey.
doing?
What's up?
See, we're in the rock and roll break room today because you know who's in the front studios?
Who's that?
Ray Merck.
Oh.
So we cannot cross him. We already spoke badly about him in the last webcast.
You should go up and say hi to him.
Yeah, I went up and I saw him and I had to turn around and walk away. His feed. So I'm sorry if I'm blocking your coffee machine or anything.
No, you're fine. I got a little bit van or I would.
Oh,
Go
okay.
say hi.
So anyhow, once they come and get the guns, they come and take your guns. You know what the next thing they come and get? They
What?
come and take your speech away.
So they're like the Nazis.
Yes, or the yes, the Nazis came and they got the Jews, and then they got the gays, and then they got the Catholics, and then
I'll
there
tell
was
you
no
what-
one left to speak up. Yeah, that
And they
old.
tell you what to say, what to do.
Yeah. So my whole thing with guns is, you can make people jump through hoops. That's fine, but is this the first step? What had happened this week is, and this is common knowledge. It's on the front of every newspaper. It's on the front of Cleveland Plain Dealer yesterday. Obama cried whenever he thinks of people getting shot. Now,
What about all the troops that he sends over that get shot?
yeah, he's not that sad about that.
That's no big deal.
No. Do you think Obama was genuinely sad that those people were shot?
I don't know. Probably not.
See, I think he was, but it's like I don't know. The legislation that he passed through executive orders, right? Again, and we talked about if you want to change it and say, you know, we're gonna change the 39th Amendment is gonna be no more guns, and you pass it that way through Constitution. If you want to do it, do that. But he can't do that. So now he's sad. We're gonna do executive orders. Well, in America, there's balanced powers.
When he was crying, you're saying he was basically like throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, I think he was. And I think he was genuinely sad. But he's like, I want to do something, but they won't let me do anything. My hands are tied. I want. But the things that he proposed, and I read this online last night, 9 out of the 10 like biggest shootings in the last couple of years, it wouldn't have stopped those people from getting guns.
No, if they want to get a gun, they're going to get a gun.
Yeah.
If they don't get a gun, they're going to get a knife. If they don't get a knife, they're going to figure out some way to kill you.
Yeah.
They want to start killing people. Eventually, you're going to figure out a way to start killing people. You get a car and just start fucking running people over.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's easier to run people over.
Look at that lady in Vegas.
The lady in Vegas,
last
just
week,
a month
2 weeks
ago.
ran like 30 people over
Yeah.
with her car.
Yeah.
Oh, you just get a truck. You know how much damage you could do?
Yeah. And so that's why, and that's what bothers me about the Obama crying thing. I'm sure he is sad. And I feel bad too if one of those.
I'm sad too, but you don't see me crying.
That's true. Joe's got a stern look on his face. We're gonna take you away as president of Beacon of Speech. We're gonna send you to President of the United States.
Oh
What
my
are you-
God, that would, you think it's all messed up now? Imagine if I get in office.
Well, are you gonna make sure? I think you would make it mandatory that everybody has to have a gun. Would you say that's fair?
I wouldn't give everybody a gun. You know, there's a lot of freaking crazy people out there. I don't even own a gun.
Yeah, that, for the record, you don't own the gun, but we know there's guns around that you have access to.
Oh yeah, I got some buried in my backyard that I don't own.
Yeah, but again, and we started talking about this last week, Ted, is at least be genuine. I want to fix the problem. This is how we're going to fix the problem. we're going to do a new amendment, we're going to do this. All this executive order stuff, it's all to show that I care. I care, but it's not real problem solving.
No, because how's he going to solve the problem?
Well,
ban guns, and you're going to have a black market. You already have a black market on guns.
well, I'll give Obama credit. At least he's talking about, people are talking about gun violence. At least he's engaging in the public discourse.
I like how he's going to try to close that loophole on gun shows. Because anybody can go to the gun show and buy a gun. You don't even have to do a background check it out. You just go there and you just have cash. You don't need an ID or anything.
Yeah.
The guy don't ask you for an ID. He's like, you over 18? Yeah, okay, here you go.
But
Here's
you know
your
what?
gun.
If he was genuine and he really wanted to curb some of this,
I mean, you could go there and you could buy like machine guns. Like I seen a Mac 10 there. I wanted to buy. You ever see those little Uzi Mac 10 things?
Mhm.
That thing looks sweet. You could go. I could have went there and I could have bought that there that day.
So where do they have stuff like that? Like at the IX Center?
Like the Berea Fairgrounds. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know. They have it once in a while.
Yeah.
And they have millions and millions of guns there. Well, not million, but there's a shitload of guns there, man.
well, but what I'm saying is that he's the president, right? He has certain powers. If he really wanted to fix the problem, couldn't he call the president of the NRA and say, "What are you doing next week? Let's brainstorm. Let's find some common ground, and let's get this done. I don't want to take away all your guns, and it's in the Second Amendment, so I can't take away your guns. Isn't there some common ground where we can?"
I get the impression that the NRA, they don't want to give an inch.
Oh no, they're not gonna.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
because
then you get an inch, and it's like, hey, well, let's do this now.
Yeah.
yeah, because as soon as they give 1 inch, then they're like, "Oh, well, since you gave up that inch, can we take
Give me a foot."
can we take the foot?" They got to sit down and say, and I know this is a weird idea, but I think they should have expiration dates on laws. Okay, this law is good for 50 years, 100 years, or they can revisit it. Because we got those horrible laws, like in Wisconsin, you can't eat cornflakes on a Wednesday, and it was in 1832.
What was the one? North Carolina or South Carolina? You can still beat your wife, but it has to be noon on a Wednesday at the courthouse steps or something.
Yeah, and exactly. So if he wanted
That's
to
an
solve
actual law?
Yeah, they were talking. This was years ago. They were talking on the radio and they were looking up laws, and that was like one of the laws.
yeah, you go to the and all problems have solutions. It's do you want to take the time to fix it? Well, it goes back to I ain't got time to fix it. I'm working 24/7, running the country. I don't have time to actually plow and put my nose to a grindstone and fix a problem like
He's
gun
like
control
he's
for.
like Roger Goodell. Them two should get together.
Yeah, Roger Goodell and
Roger
Obama
Goodell,
are buddy.
Obama. Maybe they could figure out the concussion problem.
and that's the analogy I was using with Ted. The Nazis in World War II, they were racing towards the atom bomb, right? And so we're like, well, we got to get the atom bomb. We took our top scientists, we sent them into the desert. We said, we have to have an atom bomb, and they pretty much work 24/7, right? Because or else the Nazis are going to, bomb us.
That's why
Right.
we got global warming today, huh?
Yeah, well, part of global warming is probably because global warming's not because we bombed Japan, but I saw a graphic that said something like us and Russia set off, I think it was 1,800 nuclear tests.
I've seen that too. They had a special on it or something.
Yeah.
They're talking about all the nuclear bomb tests that they
Yeah.
had. And it
So-
was outrageous.
So they're like, oh, global warming's from coal and stuff. No, it's probably from the 1,800 atom bombs that us and Russia lit off.
Yeah.
And right now, we're not even the worst pollutant. I mean, I walked outside today. It was beautiful, beautiful sunny day. I just read an article this week that China, you walk outside, if you don't have a
Oh, it's the
mask on, you
smog,
start
they
coughing up a
said.
lung.
That's because they make everything.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
have no like EPA or nothing. It's
Yeah.
just like, hey, whatever company, just do whatever you want.
Yeah, so the problem's not here. It's there.
Yeah.
I mean, you could feel, again, like Obama crying. You could, oh, we got to save the planet. At this point, we're not the ones killing the planet. Well,
We were
not
a
now.
part of it. I mean, look at the river caught on fire not too long
Oh,
ago.
yeah. Well, that's true.
That wasn't
That's-
that long ago.
That's when we actually made stuff, and that's why we were polluted. Now
Yeah.
we don't make anything, and we're clean.
Yeah, because you have 1,800 million EPA laws that you're not allowed to do anything.
Yeah, so they just send the manufacturing to a country that doesn't have those laws.
It's like China.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said literally when you go outside, it's like a smog.
Yeah.
It's like a fog.
And so that's why I don't want to, all problems have solutions. The Chinese, they can solve it. They could have their EPA and they can clean up their smokestacks, but cost so much money. Number one, there is no Chinese EPA. Have you ever heard of a Chinese EPA?
Oh, that's why everybody goes over there. Every company goes over there.
Yeah, there's no rules.
Do whatever they want.
Dump mercury in the river and we're good to go.
Government's just like, hey, just give us a little cash on the backside, and we're all good to go.
Yeah. Oh, you can. Well, I won't go there. But yeah, you're exactly right. You're good to go. Here's the money. We're good to go.
Yep. Give me a bunch of large bills in a briefcase. Do whatever.
Ted, you look like you're deep in thought.
But LA's like that. Like when you fly into, you ever flew into LA? Did you fly into LA? Did you go during the day? Did you fly during the day?
Like late morning, I think it was.
So was the sun up yet or no?
Yeah, it was up. Oh yeah, it was up.
You just see the big smog over
I
downtown?
I didn't really notice.
Really?
Honestly.
Oh, I flew in, man.
When you flew into LA, did you hear gunshots?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. You flew into LA and you noticed the smog right away.
Oh, it was you just seen it. It's like, oh my god, are you serious? That's horrible. I didn't like LA. LA was dirty and disgusting.
LA was dirty and disgusting.
Did you like LA?
I wasn't actually in LA. I was in Hollywood and Santa Monica,
Oh, okay.
which I was.
Ooh, Santa Monica.
Okay,
Santa Monica was nice.
Alright.
I'm gonna
That's nice.
interrupt Ted. I'm sorry. How long were you in LA?
I don't know, a week.
Okay. Ted won a trip to LA. Okay, it was his 25-year anniversary gift. He had worked here for 25 years. They said, "Thank you. We want to send you to LA." Right?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't there for a week, Joe, so he didn't get like a good cross section.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, he wasn't allowed to take anybody. 25 years, you get a solo trip to LA, and it was for one day.
That's nice of them. Huh?
So he did not get to go to LA and like get a cross section of. Basically, he ate dinner and he was back on the plane.
Yeah.
You were basically on the plane as long as you were in LA. Would you say that's fair?
You wasted probably more time at the airport on the plane than you did actually in LA.
Yeah, it wasn't set up very well.
So, but like I said, so Ted might not be the right person to ask because, you could have went on a Tuesday, but, you were there for a week, so you got to see smog coming in. But did you notice smog when you left?
No, because I don't remember when I left.
Oh, were you hungover?
I don't honestly remember. I think I might have been. I might have been just so sick of that place I wanted out of there. I think I left at night too.
What time of year was that?
December. The Browns were actually playing. We went down to
December?
San Diego and watched the Browns and Chargers play.
You're a hardcore Browns fan. You went to watch the Browns play?
Yeah, I was coming in. My buddy's like, "Hey, you're coming in," and that Sunday, he's like, "The Browns are playing. You want me to get tickets?" I said, "Yeah." I didn't even know.
Well,
I just scheduled the trip to LA. I didn't know the Browns were actually out there.
I wanted to talk about something else, and it ties in with that. Do you mind if I change the subject real quick?
It's your show.
Okay. Now, yeah, you keep telling me that. Now, this week, San Diego, Oakland, and St. Louis, all three NFL franchises, they all put in applications to move to LA.
Yeah.
Now, you went to see the San Diego game. Do you think they should stay in San Diego, or do you think they should go
stadium's a dump. If San Diego don't build a new stadium, they should leave.
So the stadium's a dump. If they don't build a new stadium, they should leave.
Yeah.
We already know it's common knowledge. I'm not slandering anybody. Everybody knows the Oakland Coliseum's a dump, and they don't want to pay for anything, right? I don't know about the St. Louis Stadium. Have you ever been to the St. Louis Rams Stadium?
I heard that's a dump too.
Okay, but
So St. Louis wants to move back to Los Angeles because they were the Los
Correct.
Angeles Rams, right?
right, but St. Louis.
So all three of them want to move to Los Angeles.
Yeah, and they all filed the paperwork this week to move to Los Angeles. Now, all three teams aren't going to go.
I think San Diego, because then it's so close to LA, you'll still have that San Diego fan base and LA. Then you get the LA fan base too, which I'm sure a lot of people in LA are San Diego fans. Because where are they going to go? All the way up to Oakland?
Right. Well, that's the thing. Oh, they can't just go from no teams to three teams.
Yeah.
So if San Diego doesn't build them, you think they should go? I
Why
think.
don't they just merge all the teams into one and then just move it right there?
Well, here's. Well, there you go. Well, here's another scam.
Well, Oakland is by like San Francisco, right?
Yeah, Oakland,
Yeah,
San
closer to
Francisco.
San
They're across the
Francisco.
bay.
It's
San
a lot closer to
Francisco.
San Francisco than it is LA.
But see, I don't feel bad for Oakland because San Francisco's building a new stadium, and it's just like Cleveland and Akron.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? If there's no Browns, if there's Akron Bulldogs,
But
who
isn't
cares? There's still
Is
an
there a
Akron team.
huge fan base for the Raiders though?
Oh, there is. But at the end of the
Look how many
day,
teams California has.
yeah, at the end of the day, You could just be 49er fans. They're like, oh no, we're on the east side of the bay. We don't like the 49ers.
Yeah.
Well, go across the bay. Drive across the bridge.
Go down and be a Chargers fan then.
Yeah,
Stop
go
stop
be.
your whining.
But the intriguing thing is, there's two intriguing things. Number one, St. Louis said, we will build you a brand new stadium if you stay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the guy's like, I want to stay.
Yeah.
I want to make more money in
I wanna
Los
be in a
Angeles.
bigger market.
He's just greedy.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in that shitty market.
Yeah. So my whole thing is,
Of course, would you rather own a franchise team in St. Louis or LA?
well, but that's the point of the story. So they have to make a decision. And it's who's going to make the final decision. Maybe that's what Roger Goodell's working on, right? That's
Jimmy
what he's working
Haslam
on.
should have threw his hat in the ring too. And moved
He
the
wants to
Browns.
move to LA too.
Yeah, might as well move the Browns and get him out of here.
But they can. I think they're only going to take two teams, and one of the teams, like you could always have St. Louis move to LA, and then San Diego move to St. Louis. You know what and
Yeah.
have the St. Louis Chargers that they're going to build a stadium.
Yeah.
So again, they're playing franchise roulette. Now, all the other owners back when the Browns moved, they all yelled, but not that bad.
Yeah.
Why are the owners not yelling about this?
I don't know. You know?
Yes, I do. In order to move your franchise after Art Modell moved to the Browns,
Yeah.
they said anybody can move your franchise. All you have to do is pay the NFL $550 million and you can move your franchise.
God.
So if two teams move, the NFL gets a check for $1.1 billion from two owners.
There you go. Now you wonder why Roger Goodell can't figure out concussions because he's too worried about how he's gonna steal that $1 billion that he's gonna
$1.1
get.
billion, and so they got to split that across the other 30 teams. So what's 30 divided by 1.1 billion? It's like 75 million. So if two teams move to LA, every team in the NFL gets a check for $75 million just for being in the NFL.
Why is that?
Yeah, that's
Well, but that's the whole thing. That's why it's a scam. That's why everybody's like,
Why should they have to pay off the other teams so they can move?
because after Art Modell, they put in the bylaws because the Cleveland move was so controversial.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's why being in the NFL is like a license to print money. And it's like, and then the players are like, well, you guys are swimming in money, and then the owner's like, oh no, we're not. We have to pay health insurance. You know what I mean?
yeah.
All the
We
concussions.
don't want to pay out concussion payouts. I mean, the NFL literally swims in money. And when I heard that
They're printing money.
yeah, because I'm like, why aren't all these owners making noise about the NFL? Why aren't they mad? And it's like, okay, would you be mad
Are you
about
gonna
getting a
be
free
mad?
check for $75 million?
Get almost $100 million.
Yeah. And that could go towards the Browns price that they paid. They're still paying off the Browns.
Man, you imagine he's getting a check? 75 mil.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. Oh, hey, Joe.
I'm in the
it's-
wrong business.
Yeah. Iron Mountain just doesn't give you checks for coming in and say thank you.
We should start up our own football league.
The Joe Football League.
Whatever football league.
I think we'll buy the Lingerie Football League.
No, not that. Like a real football league.
Like the XFL,
Yeah.
like that McMahon tried.
Yeah.
He had some good ideas.
Yeah, well, it's all right.
He just didn't execute his ideas very good.
We'll just call it the FL, Football League.
The Football League.
Yeah. TFL, the Football League. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm feeling it, dude. Let's start it. We got a whole bunch of ex-players.
Well, listen, here's the thing.
And we won't pay attention to concussions.
No, we're like, screw those rules.
I was going
There's
by.
no rules.
I was going. Yeah, no rules. You have to sign a waiver. You
we
can't
won't worry
say
about
you
that.
can't sue us.
We won't worry about steroids or anything if you want to do them.
Do
just-
steroids?
Yeah,
Yeah,
do-
we'll supply you steroids.
Yeah, whatever
Shoot
drugs
up.
do, whatever. You sign a waiver. We'll pay you, but you can't sue us, and that's the rule. You can't sue us.
Hey, you.
We'll take the NFL down in 10 years.
Yep.
Hey, but that reminds me. I was going by the 480 bridge. Powerball already went up to 700 million.
Yeah,
I went to the bank and I
Wow,
bought
it's
my.
unreal.
So we could start our own football league, and then in no time we'll have $1 billion. We'll turn our 700 million.
You know,
into
if we win that money, we could move our football team.
yes, we could.
We could start our own football league with that money.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't mind starting my own league. Not football league, but different league.
Yeah, 700 million, man. You imagine winning that?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I wouldn't be in work next day.
That's like humongous, like FU money. You could be like FU to everybody.
Yeah. Well,
That's-
I'm poor and I basically do that.
Yeah, you got some balls.
Okay, Joe, you said you couldn't stay the whole episode.
Yeah,
Do
I
you have
gotta
to get
get out of
going?
here. I should leave.
Joe, thank you for
You
coming.
guys want to kick me out?
Joe,
so
you
can
have a
talk
great
bad
night.
about me.
Oh, no, we're not going to talk bad about you. This is where we're going next. We're doing predictions because we have predictions. We're going to talk about Adele next. I know you don't want to talk about that.
Who?
Adele.
What's that?
The singer
these?
Adele.
Oh, is that the one that South Park didn't make fun of?
I think South Park makes fun of everybody, but I assume they did.
All right, don't forget to plug that in. All right, see you.
Okay, we'll
See
plug
you,
that
Joe.
in. See you, Joe. Okay, so predictions last week. I had top 10 albums of the year was Adele, and then I never checked it out, right? So I looked at Entertainment Weekly. Would you say Entertainment Weekly is one of the biggest entertainment magazines in the United States?
I guess. I would imagine.
Yeah, well, guess who's right on top of best and worst? See that girl right
Adele,
there?
yeah.
That's Adele. So not only was my prediction right, again, before anybody heard one note of music, why was this prediction made on 11/24/15? Because it's not about the music, it's about hype over crap. Okay? And I'm going to open up the Entertainment Weekly. Number 3 album of the year. What does that say, Ted?
Adele.
Yeah, Adele. What was the number 3 single of the year according to Entertainment Weekly?
Adele.
Yeah, it's a bunch of crap. It's all about hype and who's Adele, and I just, for some reason, I do not like her, and I like one of her songs, but I don't see how she's the voice of a generation or the voice of music fans everywhere. So I'm gonna say that I was right because my prediction was top 10 album of the year for Adele, and that was before they even released it. Ted's looking at the cover of the magazine. Why did you want to look at other?
No, I just I see Daryl from the Walking Dead. Is that his name?
Yeah, I like Daryl.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, here's the next one. Okay, you ready? Ted, this is Ted's prediction. On October 9th of 2015, you said the prediction is before end of NFL season, Johnny Manziel will relapse. Okay, now you are like a prophet. Okay, because a date to be fulfilled 1/1/16. Okay, now the last game of the season. What was the last game of the season? What day was that?
Like the date?
Yeah, no. Yeah, it was like the 30th of December or January 3rd or whatever.
Jeez, man, I'm drawing a blank.
Well, that's all right. It doesn't matter. Because Johnny Manziel, you said he would relapse. And the reason why it was made because of Johnny Mania in Cleveland in October, right?
Yeah, I
Thi-
think it was. Yeah, never mind.
The last week of the season, Johnny Manziel lost in Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
And then on Monday, he came in, did film work. And then on Wednesday, he said he had a concussion. And then on Thursday, we started to talk about this. Oh, what you looking for, Joe? Oh, good luck. Have a good night.
Yes.
On Thursday, he went to Vegas. He wore a wig. He said he was Billy Manziel. There's pictures of him online. There's pictures of him drinking Loco. And again, if it's the off season, who the heck cares? Go drink yourself into oblivion. Okay, you're Ken Stabler. Okay, but instead of playing, he said he had a concussion because he didn't want to play football. Well,
Yeah.
that's what you're supposed to be doing. But he wants to be an internet star. So he missed the last game. He missed his concussion protocol test. He didn't show up to the last game. So, and the rumor is, and I heard this rumor on the radio today, is that he's checking himself back in rehab because his agent, his PR agency dropped him today. Did you know that?
No, I did not. hear that.
His public relation firm is a company called LRMR. And do you know who they are?
No.
That's the LeBron James agency. So the-
Yeah, I heard a little clip of LeBron James this
Yeah.
morning, but I could not hear what he said.
yeah.
Because he was
His-
kind of like.
Yeah,
and
it's-
I'm like,
the LRMR stands for LeBron, Maverick, and his other two friends. It's their agency. Johnny Manziel did not fire them. The agent fired the client. You know how rare that is, Ted, for the agent to say, you're fired. Usually agents are like, no, come to us, you know. Not the other
So
way around.
they dropped him?
Yeah, they dropped him today.
And that is the reason why Johnny Manziel is allegedly... That's not a fact, right? You're
No,
just hearing rumors that he's going into rehab.
Right.
It's a fact that he was dropped.
Yeah, it was a fact that he was dropped. The rumor is because he was dropped, he might be going back to rehab.
Yeah.
So that's a rumor.
So that's his rock bottom is being dropped by the agency.
I think there's more rock bottoms to be had. Okay. I can tell you that Johnny Manziel.
That's a really shallow rock bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not that. Okay, Johnny, I'm going to say you're right because he relapsed. He was drinking like crazy in Vegas when he should have been in his last game. So I'm going to say you were able to predict that. Good job, Ted. You were spot on that one. Okay, now I'm going to make a prediction. Okay, we're going to take this one, we're going to shred it or whatever we do with our predictions. I'm going to make a new prediction. This is for January 3rd. Okay, date made 1/7/16, and reveal date is going to be 1/7/18. Okay, prediction: Johnny Manziel will be in the CFL. Okay, do you know what the CFL is?
Canadian?
Of course you do.
Canadian
The
football?
Canadian Football League. And then prediction was made. We'll tell the story of Billy football. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Okay?
Are you saying he's going to change his name? When
Oh,
he goes to the...
No, what's going to happen is the Browns don't want to lose him for nothing because the Saber metrics or whatever says you don't lose assets for nothing. So we're going to keep him until the trade deadline. We're going to trade him to Dallas for a 5th rounder, trade him to Houston for a 5th rounder, trade him to New Orleans for a 5th rounder. He'll go somewhere in the SEC. Okay? So my prediction is in 2016, he will be somewhere. And I'm not saying they're going to demote him back to college, but somewhere where the Atlanta Falcons, Miami Dolphins, somewhere in the South that'll be like, oh no, Johnny Football, the reason it didn't work is because he went to Cleveland and they burn people out, they spin them out and chew them out, right? 2016, he'll be with Dallas or someone like that, and then he will suck, and then by 2017, okay, they'll try and rehab him, and by the end of the year of 2017, he'll be like with the Calgary Stampeders or the Ottawa Rough Riders, or maybe I got it backwards. I'm trying to think of a team I know what their name is. I know that it's the Edmonton Eskimos, okay, or with the Edmonton Eskimos, Toronto Argonauts. He'll be with that, so we'll put 1/7/18. Now,
So you're basically saying he will not play for the Browns in 2016.
oh yeah, he's for sure not playing for.
So
the
during the
Browns.
offseason, you think they're going to do a trade or...
Oh yeah, they're going to trade him as soon as they can to another NFL team, and he'll wash out to the CFL by January of 2018. Johnny Manziel in the CFL, and I think he's going to be in Dallas in 2016. Okay, do you want to add on to that, or is that you just want to let me have that one? Where will he be in 2 years? And the clock will be ticking, tick-tock.
Well, I agree with you. I think that he will go to Dallas.
Right.
I predict that he'll go to Dallas and he'll stay there for at least 2 years.
Okay, so we'll put...
And he'll be not like a star, but he'll
still be helping out Romo.
Yeah.
When Romo doesn't have a broken back or 3 cracked ribs, he'll be helping. Which is valid. You want somebody like Johnny Football to back up Romo. If he backs him up for 2 more years, I mean, on Jerry Jones' part, it's sound. But once he gets there, who's to say he's not going to party even harder? Like, hey, I'm home, I'm back, let's go. Ted says Dallas, on Dallas roster, But Romo, I'll put question mark.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, we'll throw this one over here. And now I haven't.
Yeah,
looked-
I do not think that he'll end up in the CFL.
Okay, I think he will. But
I think that he'll go to Dallas and he'll be there for like maybe a year or two, and then he'll go somewhere else. You know what I mean? He'll bounce around the league
okay,
because I think
Go
I
ahead.
think he's got talent,
yeah.
but I don't know.
When I was a kid, I used to read a lot of almanacs and stuff. And do you remember the Indians in the 1940s? They had a midget. It was Eddie Goodell, I think his name
Yeah.
was. There's a
Was
reason.
that one? Who was it? Bill Veck?
Bill Veck. And they
Yeah.
gave him the number 1/8 and they put it on the back.
Yeah.
So I think that Johnny Manziel will wash out just because the same reason Eddie Goodell washed out of the Cleveland Indians. So, all right, there's one other prediction that came up this week. Okay. Right here, Joe Kaufman, and he just left, so I should have done this before he left, so I'm sorry, Joe Kaufman. Okay. The prediction, Mike Pettin will not be fired from the Cleveland Browns at the end of the year. And Joe's
who
quote,
made that, Joe?
Joe's quote was, "Why would you fire the coach?" Okay, this is Joe's prediction. Now, the reason we were having fun with Joe is for 2 months, all I heard on every single station is that Mike Pettin was getting fired. Okay? Every single person in the city says he's fired at the end of the season. On December 2nd, which is when the prediction was made, right? I said either, how can every single person in the city know that he's fired, but they don't announce anything? Why don't they just fire him now, right? Well, the reason they didn't fire him now, or back on December 2nd, is because they wanted to change the way football's done. And that's what we're going to talk about next, is they did fire the GM, and they did fire the coach, and they fired the assistant GM. They literally came in and fired everybody with a title, okay? But they kept the business people, because they're making money.
Yeah.
And they want to go to sabermetrics or analytics or whatever you want to say. Now, the question from me to you is, did you see the movie Moneyball?
No.
Okay. The movie Moneyball is basically about the Oakland A's were horrible. They hired a bunch of analytics guys, and then they were good. Okay. Long story short.
Now, analytics guys, they analyze like statistics.
Yes.
Is that basically what they do?
Yes, they feed all the statistics in the computer, and then the computer spits out if you pay a guy too much money, if he's good, if it's better to run on certain situations, not better to run on certain situations, basically anything you want to know. According to analytics, Joe Thomas has been the number one left tackle for the last 5 years or whatever.
And what good has it done us?
No. But do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So-
now, does any other team use this?
Everybody uses analytics, okay? But supposedly what we did when we fired our GM and coach, Joe was wrong. Haha, Joe. Joe
I
was wrong.
think didn't I make the same prediction too, though, that Patton and...
I think you did, but this one it might be on a different sheet,
Yeah.
like for next week. But right here, that's the Johnny Manziel one. I'm sorry. Joe Kaufman specifically said, "Why would you fire the coach?" And I'm like, "Are you not listening to talk radio?" I mean, every day they're like, "That guy's fired." I'm not worried because that guy's fired. Well, how do you know he's fired? Well, we know he's fired, but we can't tell you. Well, that's great reporting. Nice job, guys. But what's funny is all these guys who said he was fired, they thought that, Gruden was going to come in or this other guy. Nobody thought we were firing all our football people and putting analytics guys in charge. And basically what the analytics guy is going to do, the reason I brought up Moneyball is the analytics guy from the Oakland A's, we hired him to be charge of the organization. Now, me or you, that's thinking outside the box, and we are not, Beacon of Speech, if we sold the computer, Beacon of Speech is probably worth $1,000, okay? Because that's how much a computer was, okay? But our ownership of it, we don't have a high stake in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Haslam paid $1 billion for it, and then he had the balls to go out and say, I'm going to hire this great baseball mind. And the whole argument is, well, I'm not a baseball mind, I'm a numbers guy, and it's all about letting the numbers dictate, and the numbers in the computer can't make it happen on the field. You have to transition the numbers. Well, every football coach I ever met in my whole life was all like, you listen to me, it's my way or the highway. How many football coaches do you know are like, oh, I like analytics. I'm all about a computer giving me good ideas. Very few. Now, don't get me wrong, they all use them, but they all use them for informed decisions.
Yeah.
What the Browns want to do is basically have the numbers dictate their decisions. You see what I'm saying? Well, how are you going to hire football people who are like, it's my way or the highway, to run a system that says, this is on 3rd and 4, you should, throw instead of pass. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you're saying that they're going to even use it for play calling? Or?
Well, I don't know. But, and again, they have 100 meetings and during the week, because that's all they do, meeting. They might not in the game think that, they're not holding up, a laptop while they're coaching. But on Wednesday, they're like, hey, these are the run situations. Here's the pass situations. Just like I have the Beacon of Speech cheat sheet, they have cheat sheets on their hands. What do you do 3rd and 10? 69% of the time you want to run, you know what I mean? Or however it is. So I think that's where they're going with it. And they're like, well, we have too many coaches here, but not enough coaches there. We need to do some, sabermetric. And here was another thing. Sabermetrics dictate that players do better when they get a good night's sleep, so you never go into town the day before.
Yeah.
Like even stuff that coaches are like, oh, this coach likes to go the day before, but the other coach likes to go 3 days before. You see what I'm saying? So supposedly sabermetrics is going to help dictate all of that. I just don't know very many and again, I don't run in football circles, but I listen to a lot of radio, and I've met football coaches. None of them give a flip what you have to say or what the computer has to say.
All I'm thinking of is like, they're worried about like, okay, a guy plays better when he has a good night's sleep or whatever. All I got to say is look at Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Arguably the best baseball player ever. Wasn't he like drunk half the time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's like Michael Jordan. Didn't he have like some of his best games when he had the flu?
Yeah, they said he had the flu. They said one game, supposedly the game was at like 7 o'clock at night. He was up till 5 a.m. the night before gambling. He slept like 4 hours. He lost, $500,000 and blah, blah, blah. And, all these rumors, sabermetrics still doesn't fix all that. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, again, it just says these trends help you be successful, and these trends don't. And there is no right answer, because if there was a right answer, everybody would use it.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, they got the right answer. We'll just program in the right answer.
So is this guy going to be like advising whoever the coach is?
Yes.
So he's more or less going to be like almost like a consultant.
Well, right now, whoever the coach is, the director of operations and the salary cap guy, 2 business guys, one analytics guy and 1 business guy are going to be in charge of the football people. All I'm saying is that I can't imagine that football people are going to be amused by that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But it's like any other thing. Say me and you were successful at Beacon of Speech, just hypothetically, because we're not. Okay? Say somebody else, some other company comes up and buys us, and they're like, well, you know what? We ran some things, and if you mention breasts, at least once an hour, it pushes listenership up 5%. Oh, I like breasts. Ted, you like breasts, right?
Yeah.
But we like breasts, but that doesn't mean we should be talking about it every hour. Well, the analytics say we should be talking about breasts more. Or, certain people are offended when you use the word breast. Oh, well, we better not talk about breasts anymore. It's the same principle. And, no matter what line of work you're in, but say you're in radio, you're like, you know what? That guy's not a radio guy. All that guy's doing is taking the words I say, counting them up, running it through a computer, and then kicking them back out and saying he says the word ass too much, but he doesn't say the word breast enough. So that's all that is. But you can take it across any business, anything you do. Ted, from what we do. Well, we find it better if you take only right turns.
Yeah, I was gonna say this sounds like the very thing that we rail against constantly.
Right. And again, we could say, oh, we're in the transportation business. Well, yeah, but we took some systems that some other company used and we tried to use their systems. Well, does it lead us to success? Well, no, the other company is not in the same business as us, but we use their systems. It's the same
So
analytics.
this is like the Browns buying RoadNet.
Yeah, the Browns are buying RoadNet. That's exactly right. We sold RoadNet to the Browns, and they're going to make sure that we're going to run out patterns and deep slants all day long, but they're always going to break to the right because left ones are, those don't work as good.
All the receivers are just going to go to the right.
Yeah. Sports. I was talking about Sports Illustrated. That's where we started. I want to talk about some of our sports teams. Our Russian teams, Armor, AMUR, they're like second from last. Okay? They're second from last in the Eastern Conference in KHL. Okay? So I'm bummed out. And the only reason I bring it up is because their playoffs are coming. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Okay? The other hockey team that we adopted, the Columbus Blue Jackets, guess where they're at?
Last place.
They're still in last place in the Eastern Conference of the NHL. So we got the last place Eastern Conference team in the NHL and like the second last place team in the KHL. So like we're like on the loser train when it comes to the KHL. Or to hockey. So I apologize. We picked poor teams. I shouldn't say we. I picked poor teams. So I'm sorry. Cleveland State's not having that great of a year. But it's still early. They can still come around. All they have to do is, at the end of the day, all they got to do is win the tournament for the division they're in, and they're in the NCAAs. But I don't know if that's going to happen this year. What's our other sports team that we adopted? We adopted the two hockey teams and the.
Is it Swansea City?
Oh, Swansea City. Swansea City is still not doing good. And, again, Aston Villa is in last. That's what they deserve. And I was reading. I'm fascinated by Aston Villa. And I know you're like sick of hearing about it. Okay? But what I didn't realize is that Aston Villa is like in the center of Birmingham. Okay? But there's another team in Birmingham. I believe it's West Brom. Okay? And they're in the suburbs of Birmingham, okay? So it's almost like, say you have a baseball team, okay? Say it's like one guy...
What is that, Alabama?
No, Birmingham, in England.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. I hear your sarcastic tone. But it's like in baseball, where everybody loves the Indians. They're in downtown Cleveland, but in the edge of the suburbs, there's the Akron Arrows. You know what I mean? Well, pretend like the Akron Arrows made Major League Baseball. Well, if the Indians got demoted, me and you would just root for the Akron Arrows, right? We wouldn't be like...
Double A or...
Yeah, right now they're Double A. But say they were both in Major League Baseball. You don't care that you'd be like, oh, well, instead of the Indians, we root for the Arrows. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I stand corrected. A couple years ago, the Arrows changed their name. They're the Akron Rubber Ducks. So the Akron we would just be Rubber Duck fans because they're in the suburbs. They're in the suburbs. And it's the same thing. Even though Aston Villa's been there 130 years, well, they got demoted. Now we're West Brom fans. I know it's not that easy, and I know the English Premier League is a different beast, but it's not like they're losing their team. There's another team right down the road. We're going to drive out to the suburbs and we're going to watch a West Brom game. So I still don't feel that bad for Birmingham. I know you literally do not care, and that's why we're bringing this up when Joe's gone, because he hates it when we talk about Premier League. Now, there might be some hardcore fans that are like, that's not how it is. That might be how it is in the States, but in England, you know, this borough of London hates that borough of London. Oh, okay. You know, I remember back in the riots of the 80s when, you know, the team in North London rioted against the team in West London, and you're like, oh, geez, you know, so. So I know I'm missing the subtleties of it because I am not a hardcore Premier League fan. But ever since it's been on NBC, I've been watching it more. So, and like I said, I watch MLS, Major League Soccer in America, and I'm like, I can't watch this crap. This isn't good as Premier League. You know, it's like watching minor league soccer when I'm watching it. You got to be in the mood to watch it. Oh, I don't think I have anything else. So Swansea City is still, they're not doing great, but at least they're not getting relegated.
That's what I was going to ask. Are they in danger of?
Yeah, oh yeah, they're still in danger,
Yeah.
but they're only one place up. So we got our hockey teams are doing bad. The soccer team's doing bad. Our basketball team, it's too early to tell. And what's the new season? Is there any more seasons starting up? Are we gonna adopt the baseball team in the spring?
Yeah, because that's coming up.
Yeah, because I'm doing horrible. I'm gonna make you adopt a team. We're gonna make you adopt a team in Australia or something.
No, we can't adopt like a major league team.
Yeah, we'll adopt a major league team, but you can't adopt the Indians because we talk too much about Cleveland. I'll make you adopt a National League team.
A National League team.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to do it today, but we'll do it because that's coming up. Because spring training comes up in February, and then we'll talk about that team. And then when they're awesome, you'll be like, "Well, see, we should have adopted." Ted Coley's going to be in charge of adopting the team.
Now, when you adopted these teams that you adopted,
Yeah.
did you think they had potential to be great?
I knew nothing about the Russian team. I just picked a team because it was in a movie, Blasphemous movie, right? That I did. Okay. And I liked their jersey, and they were.
Is that the jersey that you were wearing?
Yeah, and it was literally it's 50 miles from the Chinese border, but like 1,000 miles from Moscow. So in my head, I was always like, I wonder how it is in that city. You're 1,000 miles away from Moscow, but you're 50 miles away from China. You know, and there's not Chinese people there. There's Russians there. You know what I mean? It's the Russian Far East. And it makes me wonder, is it like the Wild West, you know, when, you know, back in the days of the Pony Express, when California might as well have been another planet from Washington, D.C. You know what I mean? So that's why I just kind of followed them. And so that was random. But I heard Columbus, this was the year that they were going to fight for the playoffs. Well,
And they're in last place.
And they're in last. Yeah, so they were dead wrong about that. And I told you in an
Do you
earlier,
roughly know like what their record is?
I think 17-30 or something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But my whole life, I was a Red Wings fan, but my grandmother died. And I mentioned this on another webcast. My grandmother died, and then this past year, my grandfather died. So I'm like, well, maybe we'll root for a different team this year. So we're going to try that.
Well, the guy down the hall, or, you know, the guy that we talk about, he likes the Devils?
Yeah, he likes the New Jersey Devils because he's a big follower. And I think I said this, but I'll repeat it. When I was growing up, I had neighbors, and they were big followers, and I didn't like them because they were jerks, okay? And in the 80s, during basketball season, they're like, oh, my favorite team's the Celtics. And during football season, oh, my favorite team's the Cowboys. And during baseball season, oh, my favorite team's the Yankees. Like, they were all front runners.
Yep.
And when the guy down the hall, like
those
the New
are
Jersey,
all the teams that you just named are all the teams that I hate.
yeah, and it was like, oh, Cleveland teams suck. It's like, yeah, well, you just picked the guy who's winning, and in 2 years, you know, so the guy down the hall, he only picked the Devils because at the time they were going to playoffs.
Like, it always drove me crazy that the Dallas Cowboys are called America's team.
Well,
It's like I'll decide who my team is.
I've seen some stuff that says that now that the Steelers have won the Super Bowls and everything's stable and they beat up on the Browns all the time, they said some people say that Dallas is no longer. So many people hate Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. More people hate them than love them. And they said that America's team's either the Packers or the Steelers.
Yeah, see, I would feel better about one of those two
Yeah.
teams. Than I don't know, the Cowboys just.
They said that the Cowboys are no longer America's team. And the graph that I saw in the article I read basically was a map. And it was very simple. All across the United States, who's your favorite team? And in Pittsburgh, of course, it's Pittsburgh. And in Green Bay, of course, it's Green Bay. But, you go to like Butte, Montana, and it was Green Bay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go to rural Virginia, and it's Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? It was like huge swaths of America. Their favorite teams were Green Bay and Pittsburgh. Like the Houston Texans,
Well,
how
don't
many...
the Browns have got to be up there, right?
Yeah, they were. They were a favorite basically all across Northeast Ohio, and then like into a corner of Indiana and into a corner of Michigan. Because for some reason, they're a little more beloved than Detroit. So...
And if I'm not mistaken, they're Condoleezza Rice's favorite team.
Yes, they are Condoleezza Rice's. But you can imagine what the maps look like because, like in Houston, in all of Texas, okay? All of Texas loved the Cowboys except for 2 counties around Houston.
Mhm.
And their favorite team was the Texans.
Yeah.
The Texans have not grabbed a whole, gotten the imagination of the people of Texas yet. So it's like that. And it was like all over New York, the whole state of New York, there was only 3 teams. It was like Who Loves the Bills was like 4 teams around Buffalo. Who Loved the Jets was like 1 team on Long Island, and the whole rest of the state was all Giants.
No.
So that's why when they say America's team, when you don't have a horse in the race or you're in the middle of multiple markets, who does everybody love?
Yeah.
Like even, when I lived in Minnesota, I could not get over, I was half an hour, 45 minutes away from the Twin Cities. And I could not get over all the Green Bay crap that was all over the windows. I'm like, we're Viking fans, right? And they're like, no, you're in southern Minnesota, we love the Packers. I'm like, Minnesota. And that map, basically around the Twin Cities, was the Vikings, and like I said, the Packers was like out to North Dakota, except for around the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm oversimplifying it. There were some more counties in Minnesota, that like the Vikings and like the Texans, but still, you get my point.
Yeah. But as far as New York, a lot more people are Giants fans than Jets.
Yeah. If you go by county, and I don't know how many counties are in New York, but it was like 95 counties like the Giants, 4 like the Bills, and 1 like the Jets. It was literally that lopsided.
Now, I wonder if it was like that because, the Jets won, 1 Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And that was, in 69 or something like
But
that?
it's that little brother syndrome.
But my question is like the Giants won, I don't know how many, they've won, maybe 4 Super Bowls?
Yeah, but it goes back to the...
I wonder if it was like that before the Giants won their Super Bowls. That's my question.
I think so, because the Giants have been around since the 20s.
Yeah.
And Jets are little brother. You know what I mean? And, in Houston, they're little brother to the Cowboys. You know what I mean? So...
And it was still like that when the Oilers were there? I mean...
I think when the Oilers were there, and I could be wrong, but I think it was closer to because I didn't see a map back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I think from what I understand, it was like 2/3, 1/3. 2/3 like Cowboys, 1/3 like the Oilers. But there wasn't that much support because they moved to Tennessee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're like, oh, we can never get out from under the shadow. Well, Texas is a big state. And everybody keeps talking about if the NFL expands, are they going to go to London? Are they going to go to LA? Are the Rams going to go to LA and then the St. Louis will get an expansion team. I don't know why they don't want an expansion team in San Antonio. I would think the number one, Texas is a huge state.
Yeah.
You think they'd want to go to San Antonio or they'd want to go to Oklahoma City or the Las Vegas, somewhere where they're not at, where they would literally own hundreds of miles worth of, territory.
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking at my stuff. I'm looking at the clock. I think we're tied up. All right, let me mention one or two things real quick before we go. If you want to read my book's called American Suicide. Google Fred Hunt American Suicide. You can buy it on iTunes or Lulu. That's Ted Coley. Do you want to promote anything?
No,
Okay.
I have nothing going on.
Me and Ted were in a movie. It's called blasphemersmovie.com. You can watch it for free. If you don't want to watch it for free, you don't have to do anything. You can just listen to us. We'll be back next week. Do we plan on doing this next week?
Yeah, sure.
That sounds good with me. And all I got to do is find the files. Hopefully we get Joe. Hopefully, part of the reason Joe left this week is because he was sick. And the other part was because of his hand. So hopefully he's back to 100% next week.
And we should be back in our regular studio.
Yeah, hopefully we're back in our studios. Remind me to plug back in the refrigerator so the hum is gone. And
See, I would have forgotten that.
yeah, and I'm sorry about the acoustics in here. Hopefully we got rid of... it's funny because in the rock and roll break room we have roaches and mice, right? But in the front, there's nothing, right? But today we got a giant rat in the front office.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, see, a giant rat. A giant rat. His name's Ray Merck.